Welcome back, Hive Mind. This is Shalazar with Hive Mind Gaming, coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends update for patch 4.20. So, in the next patch, first off, let's go over the information that was just released today by Oracle there on the Raid Shadow Legends Discord. So, it's just some information about the patch 4.20. They're talking about stages 21 through 25 of the new dungeons. It's only going to get harder for those stages. The previous stages 1 through 20 are going to stay the same, with the exception of Fire Knight, which is actually going to get easier in some instances where they're lowering the shield value from stages 7 through 9. So only stages 21 through 25 are going to get the increased buffs, I guess, or passives that are normally seen in the Doom Tower bosses. So the damage from enemy max HP abilities like Poison Explosion or Septimus and Royal Guard and Cold Heart's ability, then it's going to only be 10% of the max HP for the bosses. And reduction effects for turn meter are only going to be 50% effective on those bosses as well. The next thing is something that is actually super exciting. For 1 full month, they're going to have the silver cost of all gear removal. I mean, mind blown that they're actually doing something. I mean, good on them. I think it's great that they're actually doing something. It's not quite what needs to be done. Like, for instance, they should probably have the cost forever. That should just be the thing. And then, or once per week, once per month, whatever the case may be, they just need to make it a free day. But it's a step in the correct direction, in the right direction. So good on them for doing that. All right, next they also are going to do a enhancement of the classic arena experience. So yawn, because, you know, bronze and silver tiers will be less demanding. I don't believe that to be true, but hey, whatever. But they say that they're working on it, and they made some tweaks. So if you guys see any differences, let me know. I don't believe that they're actually doing that, but I mean, who's to say? All right, and then lastly, there's one more thing they said. There's a bunch of new missions coming. We already knew this. This is for the new winged dragon guy that was in my last video. So they're basically saying what I said in my last video. The missions are going to be based off of in-game stuff. So I'm sure before you can get that guy, you're going to have to be able to beat Doom Tower on hard. You're probably going to have to, you know, reach gold 4 in 3v3 arena. It's gonna be all the high tier stuff that only pay to win players are at. So I mean, you know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna be the situation. They're gonna have missions that are going to be in-game viable. That's all there is to it. There's gonna be stuff for the 3v3 arena. There's going to be stuff for the Doom Tower. There's going to be stuff for these level 25 dungeons. It's just going to be that way. There's no way around it. It's the only way that they're going to get people to do these things that aren't whales and can just whale out to beat them. So they've got to do something. They've got to do something to keep the whales engaged. And this is going to be that way. Unfortunately, it's going to screw everyone else because no one else is going to be able to do them. But the whales will be happy and therefore spending money and it's I don't know. I don't know, guys. It kind of sucks. If it wasn't for the fact that you can't pull the champion from a shard, if you could pull the champion from the shard, I could care less. I would be like, yeah, go for it. Do it. Like Arbiter, you know what? I don't think it's a big deal that Arbiter, if you can't complete the Arbiter missions, I mean, it sucks, but you can pull her from a shard if need be. If you know, at some point, there's a possibility to pull her from a shard. This champion can't be pulled from a shard. So the fact that they're making it to where you have to complete all these different things that are going to be goals that can't be reached by the majority of the players is just ridiculous. And the fact that you can't pull this guy from a shard makes it even worse. So, I'm a little disappointed in that, but I understand why they did it, and I kind of expected it. So, but anyway, with that being said, let's get into the meat and potatoes. A new fusion surprise! Wow, this is my surprise face. I know you can't see it, but it hasn't changed. So, in 2 weeks, they will be releasing a new fusion. This guy here, he is a dark elf. He's a spirit affinity. Rule the Huntmaster. Dark elf legendary attack spirit. He is A1 is a vile arrows. Attacks one enemy. Has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. I'm sure that probably books up even better than that. And then, well, at least I hope it does. Transfers a random debuff from this champion to the target if the target is under a hex debuff. So this guy is going to be throwing out hexes, just like Thea the Tomb Angel. And then his A2, Unleash the Hunt, attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on enemies under hex debuff. So that's kind of cool. So he's going to do 2 hits if they already have a hex debuff. And then will ignore 25% of each target's defense if there are 4 or more enemies under hex debuffs. And that's on a 4-turn cooldown. Books down, probably books down to a 3-turn. We don't know what the books are going to be. So his next ability places a 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then places a hex debuff on all enemies. So it places. So there's no chance for weak hits, nothing. It just places it. For 2 turns, also places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. And it's on a 6-turn cooldown. That probably books down to a 5 or 4-turn, more than likely. I mean, that's pretty strong. I mean, he throws up a perfect veil on himself, increased accuracy on everybody, all of his friends, and then places the hex debuff on all enemies. All enemies, not just one. And then coincides with his A2. I mean, with masteries, that could be up to a 3 turns for hex debuff. And then his A2 gets double hits on anything. I mean, that's pretty good. And then if you throw in Thea the Tomb Angel on top of that, she gets increased damage based on the amount of hexes that are on the table, not just the person she's hitting, but across the board. I mean, these two together are going to be huge, man. And then he's got a passive that for his A4, which is Mark Query. It decreases D-speed of enemies under hex debuffs by 5%. So not a big deal, but still. It's like giving them, kind of like giving them a decreased speed debuff. And then resist by 10%. So the speed by 5% and resist by 10%. So it makes it even more beneficial for that increased accuracy. Like, holy mackerel. Also increases the damage enemies under hex debuff receive by 10%. Whoa! And decreases the value of heals that they receive by 30%. These effects do not stack if there are multiple rules on the same team. That makes sense. So that's crazy. So his passive, as long as there's a hex on the person, they get a -5 speed, 5% speed, -10% resist, and then all damage done to that enemy is 10% more and decreases the value of heals they receive by 30. That's huge, man. This guy's gonna be good. This guy's gonna be good. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So it's going to be a fragment fusion in 2 weeks. So May 11th, my birthday, this guy is coming out to meet the world. This guy is not one to pass up. Luckily, it's just a fragment fusion. It shouldn't be one of these wonky ones because Plarium sucks for that. I mean, this last fusion is absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible, which means they're probably going to do it more often. So, prepare now, save up resources, and get your artifacts leveled up right. Get them leveled up to level 11 or level 15. Get them ready to. All they need to do is cross over to that next step to get the points. Don't summon your fragments if you don't have to. If you don't need to, that way you can just summon them immediately and get those extra points, things like that. Get your food raised up, get all your stuff done, that way you're ready to go, because this is not going to be one you're going to want to pass up. So but other than that, that's pretty much it. It was going to be a fast one, a quick one this morning. So if you like what you've seen and you want to see more, hit the like button and join the Hive by hitting the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.